everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you part 2 of a compilation of some of my past Christmas favorites for your inspiration. And be sure and come back Saturday morning at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. I'm collaborating with 3 other really super talented ladies, and we are bringing you some brand new Christmas on Saturday morning. So if you want to know how to make it, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. In this one, we're going to just take one of the metal ornament signs from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to heat it up, the top part, to get that top off of it. Just don't burn yourself. And then go ahead and remove the paper if you want to. And then I'm taking some of the decorative contact paper from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to attach it. Or I think this is wallpaper is what they actually call it. So just kind of make sure it's centered on your board real good. Flip it over. And then go ahead and trace your ornament out. And then we're going to cut away from the line a little bit. Not on the line. And then we'll trim it out with an X-Acto knife here in a little bit. And then I'm using another piece on the top, but don't waste your time because I didn't end up using it. I took it back off because it really didn't work and it wasn't necessary. Just make sure you do get it lined up good and then go ahead and push that down real tight. So don't even waste your time on that part right there. Okay, then we're just going to flip it over. We're going to get a cutting board. And we're just going to get an X-Acto knife, and we're just going to cut all the way around as close to the edge of that ornament as you can. Try not to cut into the ornament. I did do that a couple of times. Just try to go around the edge. And then once you get it completely cut out, then we're going to go ahead and attach our metal piece back onto it. Now that metal piece didn't fit this exactly, and it didn't from when I bought it. So go ahead and trim it out so you do have a nice finished look at the top part too. And then we're just going to go ahead and glue that on. Okay, next I'm just going to add some little greenery sprigs. And I got these on Amazon. I'll give you the link for those in the description below. We're just going to kind of glue them in across there. And then I only did 5 of them at first. And then I came back in and put a 6th one in. Just kind of hold it there for a little bit because they are pretty thick. And it will take them a second to dry. And then just go ahead and cut the 2 center ones off. And then go ahead and glue that last one in. Okay, next I'm going to take some Jingle blocks and a piece of wood, and I'm going to make a shelf. So I'm just going to go across there with 4, and then I'm just going to cut one of them short. And that's just a little wooden plank that I got at Dollar Tree. Now I'm just going to paint it white, and the Jingle blocks white as well with a chalk paint. Then I'm just going to take the Jingle blocks, I'm going to attach them standing up on the bottom, so that when you put your shelf down, it's laying flat with the ornament. Just make sure that you get these straight. And then I'm going to add some E6000 glue to the bottom and some hot glue to attach it to the ornament itself. Just kind of make sure it's level. I'm just leveling mine with that line that's on the paper. And then I'm just taking some of these deer that I got at the dollar spot at Target. I got 3 of them for $3, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue them to this platform. And then I'm going to take some greenery and just kind of fill in around them just to kind of really dress it up. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a mock-up of it first, and then I'm going to come in and glue it in. It makes it a little bit easier for me to do a mock-up first. And you don't need a lot of glue because it's already sitting on a platform. And you don't have to worry so much about this being heavy because those little deer are just real light. Okay, next I'm just adding a black and white checked ribbon to the bottom. And this is going to cover up the Jingle blocks. Just kind of open it up a little bit. And then we're just going to go ahead and glue it in. And we're going to glue it to the Jingle blocks too, so it does cover it up completely. And then I'm taking a black ribbon and I'm just going to tie it around the top. And that's what I'm going to hang it with. Just pull it on up there and then just tie it in a knot. All right, this one was a pretty easy one too. It turned out super cute. I really like this one. Okay, I really love the way this one turned out. Let me know which one of these is your favorite in the comments today. Okay, next I'm just going to take these little candy canes that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cut some burlap strips into 1-inch strips, and I'm just going to start wrapping it around it. I just wanted a more rustic look in my house for Christmas, so I am covering these up with some burlap. Just kind of take your time and, kind of overlap it a little bit too, just to make sure you don't see any of the candy cane underneath it. When you get to the end, just cut that off and just glue that down. Okay, next we're going to come in with some red burlap, and I cut that in a 1-inch strip as well, and we're going to kind of start at a little diagonal at the end of this. And then we're going to start wrapping it around. Now you are going to want to pull on it a little bit as you're wrapping it, just to make sure that it is straight. And we're just going to leave a little gap between the white part and the red part, because we're making a candy cane, obviously. But if you pull it down at a diagonal, you can make it pretty even all the way around. You will have a little bit of frame, but you can go ahead and trim that off when you get done. But if you're really a little bit careful with burlap, you can kind of get it done without a bunch of frame. And we're going to make 2 of these. I'm just going to show you one of them, and I'm going to make a second one to go with it. And then just go ahead and cut that off, and we're going to glue that down. Okay, next I'm going to take 2 of them, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them down in the center, kind of at an X. And then I'm going to take some wire and wire them together. Just kind of wrap it around the center, and then we're going to kind of got to go at a diagonal as well around each one of the legs, just to kind of hold it in there good. Okay, next I'm going to take a little block of wood. I got it at Dollar Tree. I'm going to put it right between it, just to kind of keep that open, and so it does not close up and and fold up. And then we're going to cover it up with some ribbon so you won't see that piece of wood. Then I'm just going to take some ribbon. I'm going to wrap it around it, and I'm just going to glue a little loop around there. And then I'm going to make a bow. Next, we're going to make the bow. We're just going to roll it up in a loop and hold that with your thumb. And then we are going to twist and make a loop. You're going to twist it again in the back and make a loop. Now hold it with your fingers in the back where you got that loop. And just keep going until you get it as full as you want it to. I think I did 4 loops on each side. But just keep twisting it and make a loop. And then we're going to hook all this together with a pipe cleaner here in a minute. This is a pretty simple bow. You just got to start making the loops and holding it together while you're doing it. And you can make as big a bow as you want to with this. And I got this ribbon at Hobby Lobby. Okay, I got 4 loops on each side. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off in the back. And then I'm just going to run my pipe cleaner right through that hole and twist it off in the back. Make sure you twist it tight though. And then just go ahead and start pulling your ribbon apart, kind of spreading it out and shaping it up. And then I'm just going to attach it right to the center. Okay, then I'm coming back with some of that same greenery, and I'm just going to add it at the tip of both points on that bow. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom part as well. But save your greenery that you're cutting off there, because you can use it on other projects. And then I'm just going to come back in here, and I'm just going to glue those in. Okay, next I'm just going to take these little jingle bells, the same little brown ones, and I'm just going to put it on the point on each one of the curves. Just glue it on there. And do the same thing for the other side. And then I'm going to string up a bunch of them, and I'm just going to hang them right down the center. Okay, once you get them strung up, go ahead and glue them. And then we're just going to come right up into the back. And I'm going to loop that onto that pipe cleaner again. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach it down at the bottom where that piece of wood is, so it kind of hangs forward instead of backwards. Right there at that little piece of wood that we put in there. I really love the rustic look on this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Next one, we're going to take two 4-inch canvases, and we are just going to cover them with some burlap. So just cut your burlap big enough to go all the way around this little canvas. And we're going to combine two of these together so that we can make a present that you will not see any of the strands of the canvas. So just glue it on both sides and kind of pull it tight as you're coming along. And then we're going to box in the corners just like that. But I'm going to cut a little bit of the excess of the fabric off before I do that. And I'll show you how I'm going to do it right here. You'll see where I cut this one piece here. Go ahead and cut them out just like that. And then just go ahead and tuck that in and fold that up into like just a little boxed corner. And then go ahead and glue that down. You just want to make sure that you get all your strands hidden. And then when we put these two canvases together, we're going to create a box. Just get it glued in good. And then I'm only going to show you on camera this one, but you're going to do the other one exactly the same way. Just trim off the excess and then go ahead and just glue in those boxed corners. And you can do this with any kind of fabric that you want to. It just really is good because it does not show any of the frayed edges. Okay, then we're just going to take our two canvases together and we're just going to glue them together. Okay, next we're going to take a real wide ribbon and we're just going to go all the way around this. Now when you get to the end of this, go ahead and stop in the middle. Don't cut it off as short as I did. Cut it off in the middle. Then the other ribbon will cover it up really well. Mine did cover this one up. Cut it a little bit farther in. And then take the other one and just go over the opposite way. And then just glue off it in the bottom. Now the bottom's going to be covered up because we're going to put it up on a pedestal. And then I'm making a bow for this just like the bow that I made in the very last video. And I'm only going to do 6 loops total. So just make it exactly the same way and then just go ahead and glue it onto your present. And then we're just going to attach this to a pedestal. I got the pedestal at Dollar Tree and I just painted it black. And that was pretty easy, nothing to it. And it turned out super cute. You can make a cluster of these. If you do 3 of them together, they really look good. Okay, that was a pretty quick and easy project. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but I think that these would really look pretty, like I said, in a cluster of 3. Okay, I'm starting with one of these Dollar Tree trailers, and I'm just cutting the bottom off flat and then that little back end off as well. So this is what it'll look like when you get done cutting it out. And then I'm going to start taking my paper off, and then I'm just going to spritz it with some water and rub it with my fingers until it really starts lifting off of there. And then I'm going to come in with a razor blade and finish it off. Now you want to make sure that you do take this paper off so your fabric will lay flat. Next, I'm going to lay it on its side on the fabric, see how much I need, and I'm going to cut an extra 1/4 inch on both sides so that I can overhang it. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my fabric and I'm going to go ahead and trace out my pattern from the back and the front. Now remember to do this, flip it over for the back because they are opposite sides. And then go ahead and cut out your patterns. Okay, next I'm going to take some Mod Podge and I'm just going to go all the way around this on the sides and I'm going to attach my fabric to these. Now these are going to hang over on both sides, but we're going to go ahead and Mod Podge it down, and that way you'll have a nice finished edge when you put your front and your back on. Just make sure you get enough Mod Podge on there to make it hold. And then go ahead and push the front and the back overhangs down with some more Mod Podge. Just kind of go up along the edge and just glue that in. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and attach the front and the back with the Mod Podge as well. Just add plenty of it. And then do the same thing for the back. And then we're going to trim it out here in a minute. Anything that's hanging over on the side, we're going to turn it to the side. Anything that's hanging over the side, we're just going to kind of trim it all the way around, flush with the little trailer. Okay, next we're going to start adding the trim. We're just going to go along the bottom edge all the way around. And this is Yarn Bees Fur the Love in white. And it's you can get it at Hobby Lobby. That's probably the cheapest place you can get it at. Just keep going all the way around. And then we're going to go back again and we're going to start putting the glue just above the line, just above the trim that we just did. Now close to that trim, because we're going to kind of squeeze all this together and kind of make it real fluffy. Just kind of squeeze it together, make it come closer together. Just don't glue on top of the fur. We are in a minute, but right now we're just kind of building it up. So we've gone around there twice. Going to go, and the next time we glue over the top of that fur, and we're going to go over that. And then we're going to go one more time. So 4 wraps is what we're doing on this. And after you get all that glued in really good, we're just going to add our pom-pom. And I got these at Amazon. I'll give you the link for those. They're just a real big little pom-pom. And we're just going to put it right on top. All right, look how cute that turned out. Let me know what you think. We're going to make a pair of matching mittens. We're just going to cut out our pattern, and it's in the description below. And you're going to cut it out in on some 3/16 inch thick foam core board. So be sure and cut out 2 of them and make sure that they are opposites. Okay, next we're going to take our fabric and we're going to go ahead and trace our pattern onto the fabric on the back part of it. Just make sure you're doing opposites on these. And then when we cut these out, we are not going to cut right on the line that you just drew. We are going to cut over about 3/8 of an inch over that, because we need enough to hang over the edge just to cover up the edges of the craft foam or the foam core board. Just kind of take your time on this, and when you get to the center part where the thumb is, just kind of go down in there a little bit, not all the way, and then come back up and go back around. Okay, now we're just going to attach them to the fabric with the Mod Podge. Just make sure you center it right in the middle of that fabric. Do the same thing with the second one. And then to attach the sides, not this time, we're just going to use a hot glue gun. We're just going to go all the way around the edges, just gluing it down, and make sure it glues all the way to the front edge. You just want to make sure it's sealed in so that when we put our second piece of fabric over the back of it, it's all sealed in. And you're just going to make that little cut down that between the little thumb to get that put together. And then do the same thing with the opposite one. Okay, next we're going to retrace our pattern again on the fabric. Now make sure that you have the opposite sides facing each other. Otherwise, you're going to have your pattern's going to be backwards. So make sure you're tracing this out on the back side on both of them, and then when you glue it on the opposite side, it'll match up. Now on this one here, we are going to cut it out on the line, or just maybe a little bit in the inside of the line. Just take your time cutting it out, and then if you have any overhang, once you get it all put together, we can trim it out just like we did the hat. Okay, next we're just going to take some Mod Podge, and we're just going to put it on this side, and then we're going to glue our facing onto it. Now spend a little bit of time on this just to make sure that you do get it flush, because you want to make sure that it is completely flat all the way around. So if you have to go back in and put some extra in the sides, just go ahead and do that, but just make sure that it is completely flush. And then do the same thing with the other one. Next, I'm going to take some baker's thread, and I am just going to hook these two together. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the front part of both of them, And then that will be hidden with the trim that we put around it. And this is the same trim that we put around the hat. So just go ahead and start gluing it in across the bottom. And we're going to wrap it a few times as well. And then just like the hat, if you just put it in front and then kind of squeeze those together, because we're just going to build it up a little bit. And then we're going to go around these 3 times. And then do the exact same thing to the second one. And then I just painted some white snowflakes that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just putting them on the face of each one of these. All right, and that was it. And that one turned out really cute as well. Let me know which one's your favorite in the comments. Okay, I'm going to start with a paper mache cone. I got this at Hobby Lobby. And then I got some tinsel at Amazon. It's a flocked tinsel, and you get 50 foot for this flocked tinsel. And all you're going to do is you're just going to start at the very top of your tree, and you're going to start wrapping it. And then as you're wrapping it, you're going to glue it as you go, because you want to make sure that it's glued down, because if you don't and somebody were to turn it upside down, it will come off. So just start at the very top and start gluing as you go around. Now I'm doing a 23-inch one right here in the video. I also did 2 17-inch ones and 2 12-inch ones. And to do all of those, it took 2 rolls of this tinsel, and it runs $10 for a roll. If you don't want to do a lot of them, you can easily get a 17-inch and 2 12-inch ones out of 1 roll of the tinsel. Just keep rolling it around and kind of push it up a little bit as you go. Not too much, because you don't want to waste too much, but you want to make sure that you get it full. And you are gluing as you go around. You don't have to put a lot of glue. I'm just doing like a bead every, probably 4 or 5 rolls. And then after you get to the bottom, just keep going around, and you want to make sure that you're gluing more of that into the bottom area. Just really go around there good to get that glued in. Now go ahead and pull back on there just to make sure that you've got every bit of this covered up. Now you don't have to do the little stand part, just the base, just the tree part, because we're going to put that down into a galvanized little bucket. Just double check it, and then pull your tinsel apart really good so you don't cut a bunch of it. This really did not shed very much at all. And this doesn't look like cheap tinsel like sometimes you see at the store and stuff like that. This really had a nice effect to it. As a matter of fact, it had a little bit of glisten to it, almost like it had little white lights on it. So it's really a good product. It turned out really good. And then just go ahead and run your hands down a little bit to fan it out a little bit, and there you have it. I got all my trees done. I'm going to go ahead and clean my buckets. I got these galvanized buckets over at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take all the jute off of them, and then I'm going to clean all that gooey stuff off. Now I'm just taking a heat source and rubbing it on there. Don't touch it right after you do this, because it'll burn you. Just make sure you wait a few seconds, and then just start rolling your finger on it, and all that glue started coming off there pretty quick and easy. I'm just finishing it off with a little Goo Gone, just make sure I do have it completely clean. Next, I'm just going to take a bucket, and I'm going to take some white vinegar, and I'm going to saturate a shirt. I'm just using a t-shirt for this. You can use any kind of towel or whatever you have. You're just going to go ahead and make sure it's completely saturated, and then you're going to roll your little container up into it. And then I'll show you the different effects depending on how long you leave it in here. Okay, that's what it looked like first. If you leave it in overnight, it looks like this. If you leave it in about a day and a half, it looks like that. If you just like the white part there, just leave it in for 2 hours. Next, we're going to make our 5-point star. I'm just going to take this pattern. I'm giving it to you in the description below. And I'm going to take a 1/4 inch by 6 inch dowel stick, and I'm going to mark it at the tip there. And I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to cut them all the same exact length. So we're just making a 5-inch star. But you want to make sure that you get them all exactly the same length. Okay, next I'm going to paint them. I'm taking some French linen and some Java FolkArt chalk paint and mixing them together. And I'm just going to paint my sticks. I'm going to try and make it look like wood. So I'm going to go do several other colors with it to kind of give it more of a wood look. Okay, next I'm coming back in with some black, and I'm going to dry brush this to kind of get most of the black off of there. And we're just going to kind of streak it along there, just kind of turning your stick as you're doing it. We're just trying to get a little bit of a texture to this by adding some different colors to give it a little bit of depth. So you can put as much of the black as you want to on there, but they did start to look more like sticks the more color that I added, and I did add quite a bit of the black. And then I'm coming back in with some dark brown, and I'm just going to kind of dry brush that as well. Just, you know, because the stick is going to have multiple colors on it. So you just kind of want to make it look a little bit more realistic. I'm going to make the star, and I'm going to go slow on this because I want y'all to see how to do it. You're going to go ahead and take some glue at the top of this one. Use your pattern, and we're going to overlap them. Then we're going to come in where the one that overlapped, and we're going to put the cross one underneath that one and over the other one. And just glue on the back and then on the top part to glue those together. And once those dry, then we're going to go ahead and do our string on these just to make sure that they stay in place while we're doing our other ones. Just kind of make sure that you've got that line straight across there. Okay, next we're going to take some jute to start tying these off. And I'm just going to start cutting into strips. These are probably about 14-inch strips. And then we're going to start tying off the little connecting pieces. So we're going to start at the top, and we're just going to come right through there, tie a little knot. And then we're going to wrap our string around there about 5 or 6 times. And then we're going to tie it off in the back. And I'm tying mine into 3 knots just to make sure it stays. And then I'm going to put a little bit of dollop of hot glue on it just to make sure that it doesn't open up. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing for the other 2. This will really strengthen it while you're trying to get it all put together. And then do this the opposite of what you just did the other one so that they match in the front. Okay, next we're going to add another stick, and we are going to go under the bottom part and over the one that goes across. So under the point on the bottom and over the one on the top. And then once those dry, we're going to go ahead and tie those off with some string as well. Just go through there and tie it in 1 knot, and then just about 5 or 6 loops, and then tie it off. You could do a lot with these stars. They would even be cute on gift wrap or even on your Christmas tree. They're just really pretty stars. And the last one, we are going to put it under the one that crosses over and over the one at the point at the bottom. And then just go ahead and tie all your little knots on that as well. Come back in and tie in everywhere where they cross over in the middle, and tie a little knot and wrap it around there on each one of those. You just want to pull it tight, and this will pull your star flat. So just make sure that you're pulling it tight. You're not going to break your sticks. Just pull it tight, and it will pull it all together. just everywhere where the sticks cross each other. And that's what it looks like when it's done. Now we're going to go ahead and make the tree topper part of it. We're going to take our wire and we're going to wrap a wire around the bottom part of it a couple of times. Just pull it tight because you want to make sure it holds. And you're probably going to use about 13 inches on that. And then go ahead and glue it down at the bottom where it comes straight out the bottom. And then we're going to take a dowel stick to roll it up. So just grab about a 1-inch dowel stick and we're just going to start twisting it so we can get the little spiral part to go onto our tree. And then make sure it stands up straight. Open it up. And then we're going to attach it to the top part of our tree. We're just going to pull it on down there. And you're going to pull your tinsel with it. And then we're going to go ahead and glue that on top. And then we're going to pull our tinsel back out. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Just glue that in. And I'm just taking a little rod and I'm just going to start pulling it out. Now kind of go slow because you don't want to tear your tinsel up, but just pull it out between there so it's not flattened up against there. Just right through all those loops, just keep pulling it out till you have them all out. Okay, and then I'm using these sticks on the smaller trees. These are little 4-inch sticks. I got those at Amazon. I'll give you the link for those. Just try to make sure that you get 5 that are pretty similar in size and don't have a lot of knots on them. You want to kind of make sure that they aren't crooked and just make sure you get 5 that match. And try not to get ones with knots on them. Okay, then you're going to build this one off the smaller template, and I'm giving you the link for that in the description below, and you're going to build it exactly like we just did the last one. And then we're going to come back in the same way we did the last one, and we're just going to go ahead and wrap our wire around it and make our tree toppers. Okay, now that we have all our tree toppers done, we're going to go ahead and start building up our containers to put our trees in. Now we're going to use 3 of these bigger buckets for the bigger trees, and we're just going to cut off a piece of the floral foam and glue it to the bottom. And then we're going to add a few rocks in there, just a couple rocks in there just to hold it. Now this one here is the 23-inch one, and it has the one that has the base that goes down into here. So you're going to make the little floral foam a little bit more shallow because that's going to go inside of it. And then same thing with one of the 17-inch ones I had too. I did the same thing with that. And then I'll show you what I do on the ones that that have no core inside of them. But you just need just a couple rocks, not very many. Okay, then I'm just going to take this one and I'm just going to put glue on the bottom of it, and I'm just going to glue it right on top of there. There you have it. Smaller ones, I'm going to use these little galvanized milk jugs I got at Hobby Lobby. And this one has a no core inside, so I'm going to take some floral foam and I'm just going to push it up inside of there. Now you don't need to glue it in because it's going to go narrow inside, so it's going to stay in. And then we're just going to go ahead and put a little bit of floral foam in here as well. And then we're going to unite the two together with a dowel rod. And you don't have to go real far down into there because that is going to set on top. It won't go past that point anyways. Just make sure you get your foam in there. And I broke mine. And go ahead and glue it in. And then you don't need any weight on this one. Okay, then I'm just going to take a dowel stick, a 1/4 inch by 6. I'm going to sharpen both sides of it. I'm going to push half of it into the milk jug and the other half onto my tree. And then just do your other trees the same way. Okay, these trees turned out so beautiful. I'm going to use these at my house this year in place of my Christmas tree. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And they do not look like tinsel when you get up close to them. They're very, very beautiful. Next one, I'm going to take a 1x3 and I'm going to measure 4 inches from the end, and then I'm going to cut another 4 inches. And I'm just going to take these out to the saw and saw them. And this is going to be the base for our candlesticks. Then I'm going to paint all this with a metallic black paint, and those are 3-inch circles, the solid ones, and 2-inch circles for the open ones. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and measure and get right in the center because I'm going to drill a hole right in the center to put my stick in. And I'm using a 1/4 inch dowel rod to hold all this together. Okay, so I'm just going to take a 1/4 inch drill bit and I'm just going to drill right through the center of it. Okay, next I'm going to take some E6000 glue and I'm just going to glue my ring right to the center of these bases. And I'm going to use a little hot glue to hold it in place while it dries. Next I'm going to take my dowel rod and I'm going to go ahead and sharpen it with a pencil sharpener. And then I'm taking my 2 circles and I'm going to go ahead and glue those together. And this is going to be for the top part. And then I'm going to glue those to the 3-inch solid circle there too. Okay, next I'm going to take my ornaments. I'm going to go ahead and take the top part off and I'm going to go ahead and cut the little tab down on those. And I'm just taking some pliers to cut those down. You cut them all the way down to they're flush with the ornament. And I got these at Hobby Lobby. They're just plastic ornaments. Okay, then I'm going to take my hot glue gun and just kind of open up that hole a little bit. And then I'm going to drill it open a little bit bigger with a 1/4 inch drill bit. It just kind of smooths it out and flattens it out a little bit. And then just go right through it with a drill bit. Just kind of open it up. Take your time on this. Don't go too fast because you don't want to crack your ornament. And then I'm going to just leave it onto my drill and I'm going to mark the center of the opposite side. Now it may not be exact, but it's pretty close. And then I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm just going to try to open up that hole so that I can go ahead and do a drill bit through that too. It just kind of melts it open so that you can drill through it again. Just kind of take your time on that. Okay, now I'm going to take my dowel stick and I'm just going to stick it right through the center of it, all the way out through the opposite side. And then just go ahead and pull it almost all the way down because that's going to go onto our base. And then do the same thing for the other 2 ornaments. Just mark your center. And then just heat it up with a glue gun and then drill back through it. And then you're just going to put it right on that same rod and you're going to do the same thing with the other one as well. Just try not to push so hard because you don't want to crack your ornament. And then I did put a little spot of glue between the 2 ornaments. Okay, once you get it level and straight, we're going to go ahead and clip the tip off the end, and then we're going to go ahead and glue it in place. Just make sure it's level, and then just go ahead and glue it in. We're just going to glue it in with wood glue. And you can use as much as you want to on this part right here because you're not going to see it. It's going to be covered up by that ring. And then we're just going to glue the top part to this. I'm going to put a little bit of glue around that rod just to make sure it doesn't lift up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and glue the top part on. Okay, then I'm going to come back in with some greenery and I'm going to put some greenery right around the bottom. I'm just going to take one of my little sprigs and just kind of make a U shape around it. And then I'm going to fill in the back where it didn't completely seal in. And I ended up making 2 of these candlestick holders. I just thought that they looked really good in pairs. And then we're going to put an LED light on top. You don't want to put a heavy candle on top. Make sure that you put a light LED on top of this. All right, these turned out super cute. I was real happy with these. I'm definitely going to use these year round. Next one, we're going to take some of the 5-gallon stir sticks. I got these at Lowe's. You're going to take 5 of them, stack them up, and you're going to cut off so that you have a flat edge, right? Cut off the handle area. Then I'm just going to take some special walnut, and I'm just going to stain all of my pieces, front and back. And next, we're going to start lining them up, and we're going to start overlapping them, and just kind of take your time on this and use this guide. I'm going to give you the link for this in the description below. You want to make sure that the front line goes straight up through the middle, and then when you get the bottom star on, you want to make sure that that comes straight down through the center. Now, anything, when you have one that overlaps on one side, it's going to underlap on the opposite side. So if you want to pause the video to take a look exactly how I have this laid out, then I would go ahead and do that, or just take a picture of it with your phone if you want to do that. We're going to glue it and we're going to clamp it. Now, don't worry about clamping it so much right now. Go ahead and get all your glue on, and then you can come back and clamp it because it is going to move around a little bit while you're gluing it. So go ahead and just get all your glue spots on there on each piece, and then go back, line it back up, and then clamp it. And don't even try to put your clamps on there yet. Just go ahead and get everything glued on, and then rearrange it and put your clamps on. And then when you get done doing all that, putting it all together, we're going to come back in with a paper towel and just wipe all the excess glue off of it, because you don't want any of that excess glue on there. Now, if you don't want to use wood glue, you can use hot glue. But I would recommend the wood glue because you can move this around as you're going along. Okay, then go ahead and I'll let that dry completely after you get it all clamped. And then go ahead and take any excess glue off. And next I'm going to come in and I'm going to take some jute and I'm going to wrap it around about 7 or 8 times and then tie it off in the back. And I'm going to do that to each one of the little points on that star. And then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to put some hot glue underneath each one of those on the back, just to make sure that they don't slide off. Okay, next I'm taking this greenery that I got at Hobby Lobby and I'm just going to attach it with some jute. I'm just going to tie some jute around one of the bottom pieces and tie that off, and then I'm just going to tie it around one of the sticks. Now I'm only going to temporarily put this on here because I may want to use this for another season. So that's why I'm just tying mine on. I'm not going to put any glue on it. And it really didn't take a lot, to make it stay on there because it was pretty lightweight anyways. And then just cover it up where your string is with another piece of the greenery on the front. Okay, then I'm just going to take a piece of bigger jute and I'm going to attach it to the top part there. And I'm just going to wrap some jute, the thinner jute around it to hold it on. And that's going to be our hanger. Just kind of seal up the ends so they don't ravel. And I just ran a loop through there to tie that on. And then I'm going to put some glue on there afterwards. Okay, this turned out so pretty. I think I'm going to keep this up year round. I'm just going to remove my greenery and then put up whatever decoration it is for that holiday next. I hope you liked the video today. I'm just going to recap a little bit of what I did today. Be sure and follow me on Saturday morning. I have a brand new video coming out at 9 o'clock. And if you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a thumbs up. Be sure and ring that bell and subscribe so you're notified when I have future videos. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it.